The time is 4:43 p.m. This is the beginning of Media Unit 4. We are going back on the record.
Okay. So, I think we're...
Yes.
No, I think we're still on this one here that says, quick recap at the bottom.
Oh, okay. Well, we were...
Right, and then we shifted back here. Can you just tell me the number on that one, please?
Exhibit 7.
Okay, so we're back on Exhibit 7. Thank you. So I'm going to read here as a bullet point on the bottom. It says June 15th of 2022, notified by Gordon that the ERD had originally assigned to Bulow Vetter was now reassigned to Von Briesen for an independent investigation. The law firm Von Briesen represents MPS against several active whistleblowers. Did I read that right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And then it goes up to the top, June 22nd of 22, notified by Gordon that he is advised by the legal counsel, that's Von Briesen, in regard to his communications with me. Gordon also notes that Von Briesen represents MPS, so what happened to the independent investigation of my ERD by Von Briesen? Do you see that there?
Yes.
Okay, and then it says, or do things shift and now Von Briesen is representing MPS against the claim they were supposed to be objectively investigating. Do you see that there?
Yes.
Okay, so when you're telling us that there is this investigation that's ongoing, right? We've identified the Baker-Tilly report, that's done, right?
Yes.
We've identified the Matt Chasen report into this, that's done, right?
Yes.
So
I believe so.
Okay, so then this is also identifying a third investigation by Von Briesen, right?
I don't know that it's a third, so, no.
Well, what is it? What? I'm wondering how you get that, because it says June 15th of 22, notified by Gordon that the ERD originally assigned to Bulow Vetter was now reassigned to Von Briesen for an independent investigation. You see that down there? This is the bottom of the first page. Yep.
Okay, yes, I saw that.
Okay, and do you believe that that's true or false?
I mean, it's in writing, yes. It's here.
Okay. And it also says the law firm Von Briesen, and that's Mr. Reardon's law firm, represents MPS against several active whistleblowers, right?
It says it here, yes.
Okay, and I misspoke there. That's not Mr. Reardon's law firm, that's the law firm that employs Mr. Reardon, right?
Okay.
Okay. So then it says June 22nd of 22, notified by Gordon that he is advised by legal counsel, and that says Von Briesen, in regard to his communications with me. Gordon also notes that Von Briesen represents MPS. You see that there?
Yes.
Okay. So based on this that's in writing, Von Briesen is representing MPS against Teresa Falderon, but then they're also investigating the Teresa Falderon's internal complaints. Is that right?
I'm going to object the foundation on this. I don't think Ms. Carr knows anything about what we did or why we did or what we were assigned to do.
Well, she certainly won't if you don't give her a chance to testify.
Well, I'm objecting the foundation, calls for speculation, questions broad and vague.
You're also making speaking objections and testifying. That's
no,
accurate.
I am not.
Okay.
Go ahead and answer if you can.
If you can.
So, what I understand regarding the process is HR plays a role in investigating. Wherever the initial complaint was, there's investigation within that department. There are many moving parts to this. And so when I say there has been no formal and completed investigation, I have not received any to date.
Well, except for the Baker-Tilly report.
That's the audit with I mean, we get those all the time as it pertains to a legal matter that is being pursued legally against the district. I have not received a final investigation.
Okay. Did you ever hear me say, have you received a final investigation legally as it legally pertains to the district?
No, however, we are questioning investigations as cited in this email, and you're presenting it in a way that where one would suggest that one investigation was done, so that's it. And what I'm saying is there's moving parts in multiple it's multifaceted.
Okay. Do you believe it's, as a board member, do you believe it's proper to have, for MPS to have Von Briesen Law Firm both internally investigate Teresa Falderon's complaints and externally represent the board against Teresa Falderon?
Again, I'm going to object to foundation, calls for speculation. This witness has no information as to what we were retained to do. Go ahead and answer if you can.
What I will say to that is, if they're doing an internal investigation and they're representing the district, that's a part of their job, so I understood it. I don't know if this is too separate. I don't understand this.
Okay, and how did you get this information? Let's put it another way. Did anybody from Von Briesen tell you that there was an investigation that was ongoing?
No.
No, okay. So, So how did you come to this, how did you surmise that there was an investigation that was still ongoing?
Because as a board, we have not been in executive session anymore about this matter. Typically, in any legal matter, we are presented with a final report, and from there, recommendations are made, and we make decisions as the board. We've not gotten there, and so that is the reason why I say it's not completed.
So from June 15th to today, that's more than a year and a half, right?
Yeah.
Okay, do you have any reason why MPS has taken over a year and a half to investigate the internal complaint?
I don't know. I have no clue at all.
Well, have you ever asked Mr. Reardon?
No.
Okay, why not?
Because I'm being presented with far more information now, and we've not had an opportunity to debrief or speak about what's being presented at this moment.
Okay, are settlements part of investigative reports?
Settlements are results of investigations. In some cases, we reach the point where we have all the evidence and recommendations are given, and we decide what's next. We have not gotten to that point.
Okay, have you received the final investigative report on Deb Bowling?
I believe that was before I was on the board. Actually, that did start before I started on the board. I was actually on the board at the tail end of that.
Okay, and when you were on the board at the tail end of that, did you ever receive a final investigative report?
Yes, and with recommendations. That's actually what leads me to believe, or also confirms what I'm saying about this not being completed.
I got it. So when you're saying investigative report, you're really talking about a report from an attorney about how MPS should resolve the legal dispute, right?
MPS is represented by legal counsel.
Okay.
And it would be unwise of the board to make any actions without understanding everything at hand and then making an informed decision from there. We have not reached that point in this case.
Okay, I think we appreciate you finally clarifying that for us there now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so when you said no final investigative report was made, we were supposed to have understood for the last 3 hours that you meant a final investigative report by an attorney for the purpose of resolving this lawsuit, right?
I'm going to object to the following question. She's testified to that repeatedly throughout this deposition.
I have said that repeatedly.
Okay,
Repeatedly.
so that's why there could be a report by Matt Chasen that was done into her internal complaints that was completed, and you'd say there's still an investigation going on, right?
It is beyond Matt Chasen because Matt Chasen does not represent the board that is now being sued. And so we have to rely on legal counsel.
Now I got
And
it.
that is where the final report is given, followed by recommendations, where we then talk about settlements or trial or whatever is next. We have not gotten there.
How about accountability?
Let's go there.
Let's go there. So how about accountability for the MPSU fraud? And I get it that Teresa Falderon is suing MPS. But independently from that, MPS could take disciplinary action against people who perpetrated the MPSU fraud, right?
I'm gonna object to form questions brought up. Go ahead.
Has that happened?
NPS has taken action. Things have changed within that program to address some of those issues. I don't know if it's all of the issues, but actions have been made.
Right, in secret, right?
I don't think it's secret because I actually found out from people outside of the district that things had changed from the instructors, leadership, all of that. I found that out from individuals that were in the program.
Okay, but it's not, the results aren't secret, I agree. It's the order to, the directive from the board to management to change things. That's secret, right?
I'm gonna object to form questions argumentative. Go ahead and answer if you can.
I don't even know what that question was. Can you restate that? Or?
Absolutely. Show me one instance in public where MPS took any action regarding the MPSU, discipline or holding somebody accountable for the MPSU fraud.
Well, depending on what type of discipline, I mean, there's HR protections with that unless someone does an open record request, but that's not anything like we can't sit on the board floor and say this person was fired. What has been discussed publicly is some of the restructuring of the program to address the concerns. Has it addressed all of the concerns? I don't know. But what I can say is I haven't received any more complaints about the program since certain changes have been made.
Sure, but what you can't do is identify any official board action that would authorize those changes, right?
I can. In the AFP committee, where there are promotions, retirements, resignations, all of that, there has been other employees that we've been made aware of that.
What does that mean?
I mean, there's been changes, shifts in leadership, like direct reports. Certainly your client can tell you that, but the people who were in the program at the time when allegations were made and when they were heightened, some of those individuals are no longer in the district, per my understanding. I don't know these individuals. I have not seen their faces. So I can't speak to the facts, but I have been told that those changes have occurred, and I've been told that by people who have gone through the program.
Well, so aren't you ultimately dependent on individuals outside the students to tell you what happened at NPSU?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Sure. What I understood from you is that you said that you heard from students at NPSU that things have changed. Is that right?
Employees of the
Employees.
district.
Okay. Does that mean that the kindergarten teachers are now getting their licenses?
Are we going back to the licensing question again? Because I mean, I didn't have a license and I taught. It was an emergency credential to get me in the classroom to start that journey. And so again, if we're talking about people who don't have those credentials, without the information in my face, I was one of them and I still taught and I earned it as I was in the classroom teaching, and there's nothing illegal about that. So when you're talking about elementary school students not having credentialed teachers, I can't speak on that without knowing specifically what the situation is, or the situations.
Were MPS employees reimbursed for their wages that MPS deducted from their paychecks for MPSU?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. And you could have a motion to do that tomorrow, right?
If it weren't a legal matter. Because now it is an investigation and we can't make any moves until we get the findings. We're kind of at a standstill.
I got it. So until Von Briesen gives you a report, the board is not going to take any action on the MPSU fraud. Is that what I just understood?
I'm going to object to foundation. Von Briesen is not involved in the MPSU issue, so go ahead and answer if you can.
I think the best way that I can answer that is when all evidence, all investigations have been completed. If I'm understanding this according to my legal experiences when pursuing legal action against someone, you're waiting for stuff from both sides, or all parties that are involved, and then again, we make decisions.
Okay, but if you accept that Von Briesen is doing both jobs, both the investigation and the defense, right, which you do accept, right?
That's what it says here. I don't.
Yeah, I'm gonna object to foundation on that.
Do you dispute that?
I don't dispute that it's in writing, and that's what's being alleged.
Okay, so if that's true, okay, does Von Briesen have any incentive to complete its investigation?
Incentive.
Right, because aren't they getting paid? Let's scratch that. Are you aware, because you have approved this, that Von Briesen has been paid more than $500,000 for defending against MPS whistleblowers?
I am hearing that for the first time now.
Well, you're the one who approved it, right, among others, right?
You're asking me questions and I don't have that information in front of my face. You're asking me to pull it from like all of the history with all of these cases and $1 billion of budgets. Like I don't want to speak on something that I don't recall or that I can't back up with facts right now.
Okay, so you don't recall approving over $500,000 for Chris Reardon's law firm. Was that fair?
I would have to see that information. I do not recall, yes.
Okay. Okay. And, so, will you assume with me that if Mr. Reardon is getting paid $500,000 to defend against whistleblowers, he has no incentive to produce any investigative report into the underlying allegations of Teresa Falderon?
I'm gonna object to foundation, calls for speculation, it's compound. And it calls for speculation. I don't know how you're gonna answer that question.
I don't know how I'm going to answer that because I don't know that I'm following the question.
Sure. On the one hand, Mr. Reardon's law firm is getting paid $500,000 to at least, and counting, to defend against MPS whistleblowers. Correct?
Can you show me the $500,000?
Sure. We absolutely will. So we'll just pause on that for a second, and can we assume that that's true temporarily?
Why don't we just move on to something that's actually relevant?
Okay. Can we do that temporarily?
We can move on to the next one until you're able to show me.
Sure. So if Mr. Reardon's law firm is getting paid $500,000,
I thought we were moving on.
and then he is also supposedly investigating. Do you not believe that he would have a greater incentive to continue to defend these matters rather than to investigate?
I object to formal questions brought in debate, calls for speculation, and on my intent. So go ahead and answer if you can.
I am unsure of how to answer that.
Okay. Other than the $500,000, can you give us a reason why Mr. Reardon's law firm, Von Briesen, has not produced a investigative report into the Teresa Falderon complaints?
Object to foundation.
I am unsure of how to answer that because we're going through a process that isn't been complete. That's not completed. I don't know how to answer that.
Okay. Do you believe that money affects people's judgment anytime?
I'm going to object to foundation, and we are way beyond relevance in this case. Go ahead and answer if you can.
Ask the question again so I can make sure I hear every word correctly.
Sure. I'm going to ask a new question. Do you believe that internal complaints against high-level administrators have to go through an independent review process?
Do I believe that it should or do I believe that it do?
Well, let's start with should.
I definitely believe that it should.
Okay. Does that happen at MPS?
I have been told that it does.
Okay?
Hence the reason why the processes, they take a while. And I know that the board has requested that as well.
Okay. Are you aware of anybody investigating Keith Posley with regard to the complaints made by Deb Keither?
Anyone investigating Keith Posley?
Mm-hmm.
I have been made aware that investigations are occurring. Specifically who, what, when, and where. Based on all of the allegations, I can't speak on that.
Okay.